I'm not a financial advisor, but do you want me to share with you what I've done for myself?
Mm-hmm.
And they usually say, well, they always say yes, and I tell them. So I'm disclaiming any like financial advisory license, anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I will say this: what I've done myself is I have not owned stocks in 30 years. I've not had a 401k. I closed it in my first year or two of work, and I've only owned three things in my entire life, which was certainly in the last 30 years, is basically one used car, one property, and gold and silver, physical gold and silver. Now this is something that everybody did before in previous generations. They always held physical gold and silver. And then, in fact, even the dollar, 1971, like we mentioned earlier, was basically gold backed. So we had this concept, but it's slowly been eroded. We can come up with reasons why. I personally think it's because gold and silver are very hard to track in a surveillance-based economy, very hard to track. You can't tokenize it. All these things are basically problems with gold and silver. However, the good news is that you have financial sovereignty and ownership. And now you don't have to just keep the gold and silver at home. And people ask me, how do I buy it? I'll just go through the steps.
Mm-hmm.
Should I go through the steps?
Go through the steps, how you buy it, and also how do you
protect it? How do you protect it? Yeah.
Yeah. No one wants that stuff lying around their house.
Yeah. So what the experts recommend is the following. So they will. So I understand. I've never done it, but Costco apparently sells gold ounces. So you can go to any gold market, usually the jewelers and whatnot, find three of them, find Costco, whoever, and buy your gold ounce. Okay. Or it could be a gold gram. A gram is.
Where do you buy it?
Personally, I just go to the jewelry market, somebody I trust, I've checked out, and, he's giving me a good price. It's usually a little bit more than the, a couple % more than the spot price that everybody in the world has on the screen.
Where do you find the spot price?
Just USD gold price, and you'll get it.
And if, put that on the screen for you. AppMex? AppMex.com.
The spot price is going to be the same everywhere for 24 karat gold ounces. And you'll pay a premium over that, whether it's, UAE, Swiss, Jordanian, etc., American. So you will get a standard price. Now, it's up to you. If you don't trust the seller, there is actually machines that check for the carat, the fineness of the silver. It checks for it. And also you should only buy it where you live. It's not easy to travel with, go through airports with your sack of gold or silver, whatever. So what I would recommend is, number one, you find a reliable seller. And if you can't find a reliable seller, then you have it checked out by that machine I just mentioned. Once you do that, you put your cash down, you get it, you keep it somewhere safe. You have two options. And by the way, I'm not talking about gold ETFs. Everybody wants to do everything on their phone.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about funds or unallocated storage or anything like that. The two safest places to keep it are, number one, if you have a safe place, then a secure, a home with a security system. Okay. The kind of home that, like, if somebody were to come in with a sledgehammer, you've got 10 minutes before the cops arrive or you arrive or somebody. If you don't have such a situation, many people aren't in such a situation, then you can have it as allocated storage in a third party, not a safety deposit bank, deposit box in a bank.
Not that, because of the far-reaching and constantly increasing powers of the Dodd-Frank law. Oh, okay. So they'll literally just take it.
I don't know. So
where do you put it?
What I do is I keep it in a security system. However, if you don't have a security system, then you keep it with a third party like Brinks. Okay.
What do you mean security system?
Like, a third-party private organization that actually is able to keep it in a vault for you. You'll pay a little bit of money for that service, depending on how much it is, but Brinks does this kind of thing, and other companies do this. Now, there is one problem, because I used to do this.
Yeah.
The problem is when I sold silver, and there was like a huge panic buying of silver. It was going up $1 a day for a while, and it's probably like quintupled in price in the last 3 years. Gold is more than doubled in price in the last couple of years. So it's really, it's outshone, certainly in the last 5 to 10 years, outshone the S&P 500. And I think if I'm not mistaken, most of the last 30 years, it's done better than S&P 500. Now, having said that, it's not an S&P 500 type instrument. Like, it's not an income or capital gains type instrument. It's a wealth preservation instrument. And in this day and age, where the confluence of many negative fundamental market factors affect all of us, it is wealth preservation is the order of the day. So I sold the silver, and the guy's like, okay, we'll sell it, but are you sure this and that? He hemmed and hawed, but 3 days later, I got the money.
Okay.
From the third party. We're now talking about allocated storage.
Yeah.
I got the money, etc. Everything is fine. Then I got a call from my sister, and she's like, well, Atif, now they have a 45-day hold on everyone's metal. So now your metal is being held by a third party for 45 days before you can sell it.
So that's frustrating.
Well, frustrating. And also, the regulators must have called that, we need to slow the market down a little bit. So this is one problem. However, it may be safer than your home.
Yeah.
So I keep it in the security system at home. If somebody comes in, wants to take it, they have to first find it. And then by then the cops have arrived. It only takes 5 minutes for the cops to get there.
Is it like, you get like a old-fashioned safe that's digitized?
Personally, I think safes attract attention. So they lift up the safe, unbolt it, and then we'll take care of it later. Don't try to be too clever and keep it in your freezer or something. Your drawers or your cupboards. You have to figure these things out. But if that's not possible, it's not possible for everybody. Then you should have allocated storage. Allocated simply means there is a serial number on an ounce or a bar or whatever, some kind of physical, tangible gold or silver is in your name. Unallocated means, you got 100,000 in that warehouse, but allocated means these are your bars and I want them back, please.
Who holds them?
The third party, like Brinks, for instance.
But then the 45-day can impact.
That's the price you pay. So it's, you have to be between these two choices. Those are a lot safer than having a gold ETF or a gold fund or something, or a mining stock.
So what Brinks, you never even see your golds.
You see it when you first buy it and you give it to them.
But how do you know that actually it's not some company that's going to go under, and you know these people?
I mean, at some point you have to sort of trust but the system. But I mean, Brinks has been around for a while, and there may be others, but it's a lot safer than the bank. Banks have gone down, and but again, I personally prefer the home option, but not everybody has that option. But the most important thing is that it's physical gold in your name, allocated storage, and you can access it whenever you want. Sometimes there's a hold. Maybe they change the rules on that, but this is your safest bet. Much, much safer than Bitcoin database, entries and dollars and 401ks and pensions and stocks, even for me. Okay. There may be people out there who derive comfort from third-party institutional paper, but I'm not convinced. I haven't seen it. It doesn't inspire my confidence.
Best investments for someone that we could liquidate later. We just answered that regarding the gold and silver. And
I mean, I bought a car. I just went to the gold guy, put the coins down, got the cash, went to the dealer. 15 minutes later, it's over. Very practical, very doable. Yeah. And the whole time I held that gold, it was going up in value. Yeah. And people say, well, it's gone down. Okay, well, we're not talking about investing for like 3 months or 3 days. This isn't day trading. This is definitely a long-term investment. In the long term, you know, I bought silver at 19. It went up to 120. It's now at like 70 something or wherever it's at. But I know that in the long term, why? Because it has intrinsic value. Silver is used in electric cars, solar panels, data centers, you know, you name it, smartphones, all so on, manufacturing. Gold is used in all kinds of places. These are things that have been around for 6,000 years. Mm-hmm. You know, the Prophet ﷺ, he ended his life with dirhams. You know, yep. We had the silver dirham, we had the gold dinar, and people are coming back to it. Yep. And I can't think of any reason to have a complete straight. I always ask the audience, I'm like, you know, don't trust me, trust yourself. Yeah. Ask yourself one question. Who do you trust more? Yourself or a stranger you've never met who actually has a market record of theft? So
and also, I mean, we're a people of qat'i and dhanni. Gold in your hand is qat'i. Nothing can be more qat'i, explicit, clear, tangible. Nothing can be more tangible, explicit, and clear than that. In contrast, you know, these pieces of paper in your hand, now we've evolved to not even paper in your hand.
Yeah. That's where things are headed.
Mark on a screen.
Yeah. Well, the digital Fed currency is where things are headed. One thing I would also mention is that the gold and silver is not. We don't mean hoarding. You know, you're not like Midas sitting on a round mound of gold coins and we're just hoarding the money. All we're doing is wealth preservation, substitution. We're just, you know, money that we're otherwise keeping in cash and third-party institutional paper, pieces of paper as investments, stocks or whatever, 401ks, etc. We are simply preserving it in something that's tangible with intrinsic value.